Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have two lovely special guests for the show today. Can you go ahead first with you? I don't want to say your name, but the lady, can you go ahead and announce who you are? And then he can announce who he is and where y'all calling from.
Yes, Kimberly, thank you for having us. It's an honor. I'm Katherine Williams,
I'm Lawrence Williams.
and we're from Federal Way, Washington, so Seattle area.
Cool. And can we start with you first, Catherine? Talking about your past leading up into what the beauty of art you do for the present. And then we're going to talk about Lawrence.
Absolutely. Yeah, I started sketching if we want to go way back, we can briefly. I started just sketching as a child. Coloring and sketching, that's all I knew. That was a piece for me. And I was often sick as a child. So my dad would buy me like the biggest coloring books that you can imagine, the biggest box of Crayolas that you can imagine. And I would just color. I didn't know it was a gift until well into my adulthood. And so then eventually I picked up paper, pencil, and started sketching again once I realized it was a gift, which was back in 2012. It was like, wow. And then I just started painting. Someone was like, you should start painting. I believe this is a gift. And I was just sketching just whatever came to my heart, women of color and gowns and, whatever. I didn't know what I was creating, or it was just coming out. And so then once that was confirmed, and then I've been pretty much moving forward, creating artwork since. I am actually connected to a gallery that's the only African American art gallery in the Pacific Northwest, Gallery Onyx, and they are at Pacific Place Northwest. So I am a recurring a volunteer there. And so that's one place where you can find a lot of my artwork because of our space is so limited. And we can talk about that a little later. Usually you're only going to have two pieces up or, at a time, just for respect to the space. And then they want to get as many of the artists in there, male and female. So that's kind of my niche. I don't promote as strong as some of the others because it's part-time for me. Art, as you know, is an expense. It's expensive. And so when you are gallery ready and you're selling at the gallery, you can't just put anything in the gallery. It has to be artwork that is worthy to hang on a gallery wall. And so it's been a fun ride, and I enjoy it. It's still a piece for me because in my giftedness, I am what you call a prophetic artist, and so that goes a little bit different. What that means is it's the art that I create. It's to encourage others, but it's literally coming straight from heaven. So to speak, it is to encourage someone, and so to understand that I can't just move. People can't just say, "Can you create something for me?" I have to pray about it, So because if I'm not in order, the message will be lost, and then the message to this person could be to heal them or to encourage them. I'm not the healer; God is, and so it's a big deal for me. So I'm unique in that way, and there are many prophetic artists. You have to be very careful because you have to make sure the creation that you are creating is coming from God and not from something else, or because it could curse someone in that regard. So that's how serious it is. And then other little things I create along the way. I have my greeting card line, which is really unique to women of color specifically, but I do include every woman as well. But we tend to be the one who get placed on the shelf and set over in the corner somewhere. So I have my beautiful queen line. I have my ethnic angels, and they're always have quotes on them like "Soar High, Queen." you know, and it's just a positiveness, and they're affordable. They have fabrics. They have their little bling, so they may have earrings on. They may have buttons down their back. You know, they're literally paper dolls, and I create them. They're handmade, and put them right on the greeting card. And so those you can find exclusively at Gallery Onyx as well. When I have them in there, they always sell out. And so it's really good and they're affordable. So when you can't afford something on the wall, then I feel that these cards were specifically created to anyone who, you know, they could at least get a piece of what I do. Because if you're anything like me, Kimberly, I love art, but I can't afford expensive art. And so I thought about how it used to be in the past. I would buy prints, and I'm thinking I've got a $50 print, but it's not even an original. And I got excited over that. And I'm like, this is not even an original, you know? And so it's like, so what a gift that I have that I can share. Again, you always have to remember who you are, you know? And that's just what I do. So that's just in a nutshell, the basics of me. And for my future, I just can continue to create different things, and just enjoy what God will create through me, because we all need a piece. And especially people of color, we need encouragement. We have to remember that we have to encourage each other, because we all have gone through something.
Well said, Catherine. I had to tell you something. I can't even sketch a circle. Do you have any of your sketches on you before we move to Lawrence?
I have a sketch. I have one. And this one is one of my more recent. It's a part 2 from a part 1. It's called Thinking in Contemplative Peace. This is a woman who meditates on the Lord pretty much day and night. And it's a prophetic painting. It's a sketch. The original was a painting. And it was just, so this is just, because that one's so popular, I actually sell prints of the original, because the original's gone. Oftentimes I donate some of my artwork. It just really depends on who it's going to and what it's for. But if you can see her, it's kind of hard, but you know, she's actually sketched, and then with color, a little paint. I'm trying to, it'd probably be better if I took her out the plastic. I bet.
Does she have a name?
Probably. Yeah, this is just called Thinking in Contemplative Peace 2.
Well,
so yeah.
And Mr. Lawrence, can you tell me about your past and how you intertwined with Miss Catherine and leading up into y'all both collaborating with art?
Well, I would say we've been married 22 years, and I support everything she do. The financial part of what we do. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to paint, buying canvases, critiquing, if I think I might say, well, I don't like that because it's not us. So I make sure what we're going to put out is going to be up to par, that people are going to buy. And I believe we've sold tons of cards, and I believe probably 3 paintings, and
more than 3.
More than 3. So she says more than 3.
You mean together, maybe, right?
Well, it's probably 4 or 5.
Probably together.
Okay. But just to make sure what we're putting out is going to be what we need to put out. And then places that I've worked, I advertise it by showing pictures, and people have shown that they're interested. But I say interested and looking is fine. But she also has 4 paintings at my former employer. I used to work for Renton school district, at Cascade Elementary School, and we have 4 pictures that she drew for the school that we donated. One's in the main office and 3 in the library. And most of my colleagues that worked there didn't even know that was her work until I pointed it out to them when I retired earlier this year, that those were her paintings. And all the paintings featured students of all color, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Hispanics, just to show what the nature of the school population of the children were. So just to show that we thought of everybody when we was doing this. And I just asked her to create something so that it would show the diversity of what our school was like at that time.
Well said, Mr. Lawrence. I have a question. Are you Navy? I see the hat. You're retired.
I'm a veteran.
I'm a veteran too. Thank you for your service, okay? Because I know you.
Thank you for your service. It's been 50 years since I was in the Navy.
Wow, amazing. So okay. Tell me more about you being an angelic being to create the. I forgot the word you used. It was started with a P.
Prophetic.
Prosthetic. So tell me more about the differences between negative paintings and positive paintings, because when I look, I can tell it. When I looked at your paintings on Instagram, they were robust. They told a story, especially the ones without the faces. They told a story of silence, but seriousness, but boldness, and it's another word I'm trying to look for. Very, very, very strong African American woman. It was like 5 of them sitting together or standing, and it was like, yes, it was beautiful.
Embrace.
Tell me about
Embrace
that.
Unity. Embrace Unity was actually that was presented at the first annual women's exhibit last year. And although it didn't sell, it's still available. It's an amazing painting. And those women, often when I don't create faces, it's just because we draw so much on the outer beauty. And I do believe that just encourages others, right? And so it's just a gift. And if it comes out like that, that's just how it comes out. You don't have to say, oh, this woman is so pretty. I wish I had a nose like her, right? Her lips are perfect. I wish I had lips like that. So I do a lot of faceless so people can understand God doesn't look at your face. He looks at the heart. And it is their heart. It is their heart where we are in a heart problem right now. And so, and it is again to so that was Embrace Unity because it was about the theme of unity. Embracing not unity, but something, and I don't want to misquote the event because it was so long ago. And so that one was created behind that exhibit. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So many artists, but that is how I do faceless. Because it just represents, and they can be bald, they can have hair, it doesn't matter. Because oftentimes we don't care about the hair, because anybody at this nowadays their hair can be whatever they want it to be. But it's more so the beauty. And I tell people, you gotta look on the inside, because beauty comes from within. You can be the most beautiful person in the world and be ugly on the inside.
I agree.
Right. Go ahead.
That's okay. Tell me the difference between the positive paintings and the negative paintings, the prosthetic.
So the negativity only would come in if it was something that I created outside of the will of God, right? So you won't see any negative paintings coming from me.
Understood.
Yeah. But to share the prophetic again is it can be specifically that I get a creation that goes directly to someone. And oftentimes that's someone that I know. But it is something that, this is someone who's extremely close to God. If I'm getting a prophetic painting specifically for someone, you can best believe they're close. They're close to God, and it's just an encouragement for them. Or it could be whatever the message is. It's going to come relayed that way. But as far as prophetic painting goes, the creations, I never really know what's going to come out until it's out, and then it's done. And you can see, and I'm going to be working on some videos in the future, and that's what I'm a little lacking. But when they come, it sometimes it comes so quickly, and then next thing you know, there's something on that canvas that is like, whoa, and it's there. So that's something that will just amaze you, and you won't believe it until you actually see it, because I hardly believe it. And so if it was something negative, say like when I start off, and I spoke earlier of when I start my artwork, I pray, and I have to go into praise and worship. I have to go in that mode. I have to be in that zone. And so basically, if I'm not there, it's only going to take a matter of so many minutes before that painting could be damaged, destroyed. Exactly. Right. And so if you believe in demons and if you believe in angels, they both are real. Right. So I have to roll with the angels. I can't roll with the demons. So that's why that's very important for a prophetic artist. So a prophetic artist just can't just stand up and say, hey, I got this. No, you don't do that. And so with that, and with that regard, I can, but I'm creating through self. I'm not creating through God. And so that's the difference. The difference would be whether that artwork is going to be blessed or whether it's not going to be blessed. It may just be meaningless. It may not be a curse, but it just may not be what God wanted it to be. So, yeah.
Ed, I just wanted to ask you, how long again have you been painting for?
Since 2012. 2012.
But you've been drawing for how many years?
Since I was a kid. Since I was like
In like 30, 40?
9 years old. I'm born in the 60s.
Okay. So the reason why I'm asking, I'm not trying to be nosy. I have a point to it. So 70,
Mm-hmm.
80, 2000. So that's nearly almost 60, 70, maybe years. So you've been in Seattle this long. Tell me, as an artist, what have you seen Seattle go through as far as not prejudicey, but artwork and how it's came to be the Seattle that it is today?
So I'm not from Seattle. Yeah, I'm not really from Seattle, so I can't really speak to that 100%. I've only relocated here in 1996. So I'm actually from Portland. I'm actually from Portland, Oregon. So I'm not really from. Yeah, I live here now. So I call Seattle my home because it's my home. I live here, so I can't really speak to that, and I don't want to. Yeah, but I can tell you that in order for our work to be showcased, not every art gallery is going to accept it. So I can leave it there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Next question is, so I see that you've been doing it since 2012. What advancements have you gotten from doing your artwork, and what disadvantagements have you gotten from trying to push your artwork out there?
Oh yeah, the advantages are you have to apply. You have to respond to the art calls, and then you just hope to get in. I've had my art with the city of Federal Way, which is huge. I've had a solo exhibit with them. I was a part of a group exhibit. Again, like I say, it's just go ahead.
So what about the Northwest, that place that you went to, that other gallery?
Oh, I'm not sure what gallery he's speaking of. There was another gallery.
So the one that you went to where they was presenting all you guys' work that time.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it'll come to me. before time is out.
It's okay. Just two more questions and I'll leave you alone. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good. It's all
So
good, Kimberly.
I also wanted to know, do you have any children that follows your footsteps?
All of our children can draw and create. Like we have an older son, he can draw you to the T from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. That's Jay. and
The
that
thing, the reason why I was asking you about the negative and the positive of drawing, the reason why is because we must, in order to defend ourselves against evil, we must learn what this evil wants to shut evil out. And I know how it lurks around us and how it gets
hmm
so sneaky to come
yeah.
into our lives. That's why I was
hmm
at. Does that make sense?
It makes
Yeah.
sense. And you know what? What I can tell you about art, because again, like I say, I do what I do. Um, you just have to know what your gift is and what your talent is. But I can tell you, if you mentioned you drew a circle,
Okay.
that's how I started. And to encourage you, if you want to create, guess what? I started with a circle, with a stick figure, with stick people, right? And it wasn't until I just started getting tutorials and you just show me how to draw a finger. Show me how to draw an eye. Show me how to draw an ear. Show me how to draw a gown. Show me how to draw a city. You can do Google all that for free. But what happens is as you're learning and then you go and you make it your own. So when you can start, if this is something you feel that you want to do, whether it be you want to sell or not, or just I always tell people start off cheap. Go get a cheap sketchbook for $5. Get some pencils for $5. Don't go and buy professional art supplies because that's not gonna make you happy when you start ripping paper up because you're like, ew, I don't like that, right? So to encourage you, Kimberly, that's how I started before I was gifted and understood my gift. So I'm telling you, you just play. And the practice makes perfect, right? So the more you create and the more you practice, the better you're going to get. So, and guess what? You're only going to create what you want to create. When you're dealing with artwork, you never want to worry about what anyone else is doing because that's not what's going to be in you. You're going to find that you can, whatever it is, you can say, wait a minute, I like this, but I can do this, right? Either or, there's no right or wrong. When it comes to art, everybody has their own vibe. Everybody has their own vibe. So,
Now, I wanted
yes,
to ask you one more thing.
yes, ma'am.
Already explained where you're going in the future. So my next, if you had to give a piece of advice, because before I give you the piece of advice for the young entrepreneur, I have to say this. The reason why your paintings are so powerful is because you, my friend, are a strong African American woman. In order to be strong in your whoever looks at your photos or pictures or drawings and just walk past is not understanding the concept. I understand the concept. You are a strong African American woman. And so I it's an honor, I don't care where you're from or what you do. I just care that you creating something through God, and I'm a godly person. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
Like, seriously.
Amen.
So the next,
Amen.
if you had to give a piece of advice to the young entrepreneur that want to follow your footsteps, you and your husband, they're in a intertwined relationship and want to follow the same footsteps as y'all, what would it be?
To me. Oh, okay. Lawrence wants to answer that.
Okay.
So I would say that first and foremost, portray the world that you see that we live in today. Being okay here in Seattle,
Mhm.
I think that I, I'm going to encourage her on her next portrait is to show all the homelessness and how it is affecting the whole state of Washington, especially King County, and people that are paying for all this homelessness and how our government does not want to, they accept it, but us as the people, we have to unite, defeat the homelessness, and defeat the politicians by this next strong picture that we're going to display as a picture of homelessness and how politicians do not really care about the human aspect of homelessness, because that is a powerful thing when we say we do not care about our own people, Black, white, Hispanics, Asians, and whites. It's like saying, who cares? You're out there, but the government created this situation and they need to go ahead and fix it. We're all humans, but they don't treat us like that. That's what I think our next portrait should be about: people living in tents, out in the woods, and that sort of stuff. That would display a powerful picture, especially if you could get it to go into one of these capitals around the country.
Well,
that's how I feel.
Lawrence, I have one last question for you. I wasn't talking to you like that, but I have a question for you because this is very important. I want to know, being a veteran and having 50 years, like you haven't been you've been a veteran for 50 years, is that, or how, am I right when I say that?
Well, I joined the Navy in 1974. I got out in 1979, so about 49 years. But you could say here and there, it's been 50 years since I joined the service.
What was your intake on joining in that year with being because I don't know, I don't have much family, but being an African American, I'm not trying to get you to address anything, but it's important for the people to know, for the background of what you grew up is as a African American man. It was hard for you. So tell me, this is the last question, but tell me, how was it being in the Navy as an African American man?
Well, there was a lot of discrimination, but the main question of my counterparts was, can I count on you when it's necessary, when we're fighting the enemy? Are you going to be there? If you're not going to be there, I'd rather you tell me now than for me to find out later. Because if I can't depend on you in the time of battle, then I can't depend on you, period. That was my basic theory. And most guys that I dealt with says, oh, you can depend on me in battle, but we draw the lines when it comes to certain things. And so I learned to accept, oh, you're going to be there when I need you, but when I don't need you, you're not going to be there. And I learned to accept that.
Well said. Where do you see yourself collaborating with your wife in the future? Like, where do you see yourself helping her?
Oh, we go, just like I say, I think our next picture should paint a portrait of certain things that we need to display for our county and our state, that states certain things about people in general, and to show politicians that either you're gonna help with us and our people of our state and our county, or you're gonna be gone. That's the basic concept now. Either you're gonna help and do what and unite and do what we need to do for people, or we can't support you anymore.
I hope
That's
y'all,
just
that word, and I know that picture is going to be like whenever it gets built or produced or however you're going to do it. Let me know, and I want to see the picture or whenever, if that's up to you. But I would love to promote it for you guys. How can the
Okay,
people?
thank you.
You're welcome. How can the people reach y'all?
Well, right now, of course, through email, kwrtstudio82 at gmail.com, and then kwrtstudio at Instagram.
Well said. Do you have any last questions about your art or anything? If not, it's okay. I just throw that out there to everybody.
But I do have an invite, if it's okay with you.
Yes, yes.
Gallery Onyx will be putting on their second annual women's exhibit. It starts this Friday at Pacific Place Mall in Seattle, located downtown on 6th Avenue and Pine Street. And the reception, if you want to meet the artist, it's always best to go on the reception. But the exhibit opens this Friday, 12 noon to 6. They'll be there displaying the latest artwork for women. And Sunday from 2 to 5, same gallery is the reception. They'll have free little snacks or whatnot. So some of the artists will be there. So that's my personal invite to you. If you're free, I don't know your schedule, but the exhibit will be open through early June. So if you get a chance, go down, check out the gallery. You'll see our confined space, and then you'll kind of get an idea what I talk about, and you'll see. And any of those artists would love to come talk with you, and I can highly recommend some, maybe off screen, but yeah, you'd be welcome there for sure. And if when you create and you want to sell, let us know, because we always are recruiting. We are always recruiting, and children ages K through 12, we are always recruiting, and they can show for free. So yeah, and that's something that I do. So they can reach out to me, and then I'll make sure that they hook up with our president of the gallery, and they are some amazing people. And it's all volunteer. No one gets paid. It's all volunteer when you help out there.
Okay. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Stay on the line because I have to ask you some more questions. Just one. But
Okay. No worries.
I just wanted to tell y'all thank you guys for joining my show. I appreciate you guys. You take care, be safe, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. I'll be back on here in a little bit. Bye.